I'm back from Vegas and better than ever. And I can't wait to talk some Iron Bowl. So let's get at it. What do y'all say?
You are Locked On Bama, your daily podcast on the Alabama Crimson Tide. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back into Locked On Bama, AHSA Radio Network's Luke Robinson. That's me. Alabama internet legend Jimmy Stein. That's him. This episode is brought to you by FanDuel, and we want to thank you guys for help making Locked On, the entire network, the number one sports podcasting network there is. And of course, Locked On Bama is a part of that. It's all because of you. We appreciate you. I've got some shout outs from some really awesome people that I met in Vegas. I mean,
Wayne Newton listens to the show.
Yes.
Is it true? Is it true?
Wayne Newton, dead or alive? I don't know. I think dead.
I don't know that. I go alive, but I don't know that.
I'll always err on the side of caution and go dead. And that way I'm pleasantly surprised.
Nice. Because people are so thrilled. People are so thrilled to hear that they're dead when they're not.
But, you know, we're going to start out with some Iron Bowl talk. I also do want to talk about the basketball team and talk a little bit about this tournament in general. I just had an absolute blast. I mean, it's hard not to in Vegas, but it was just kind of awesome. And the crowds weren't great on TV, I know. And I was in the stadium and they weren't great. But
I saw you. That's how the crowds weren't great. I saw Luke sent me a picture of his seat, and then they showed the game, and I could tell from Luke's picture where he was, and then they showed from atop the arena, and I'm like, "There's Luke."
Yeah,
I'm like, "There he is." Red shirt, Monday night, right? Red shirt. Well, Alabama.
Yeah, and I thought it was a lot of fun. By the way,
front row. You were in the front row, but off the floor area. You weren't on the floor.
The Bama bench.
But front row, not on the floor, but front row.
Across from the Bama bench. And
yes.
And anyway, Alabama has played Maryland after we record this, right? So we don't know that result. I'm thinking Alabama's going to handle them. We'll talk about all the basketball later, but I do want to talk some Iron Bowl. And do want to talk about, let's start off with when Alabama has the ball. You know, I did a show with Zach Blackerby. I know you did a crossover show with Zach too, but I did one for the Locked On's part of the Amazon Fire TV stuff. And, you know, I just said, I haven't made an official prediction. I'm not going to. And when in the end, I'm going to choose Bama, but I'm worried to death about this. I said, the thing that scares me more than anything is Ty's regression. Now, maybe I'm imagining that to a degree. I don't think I am, but if you go back and it's not as bad as I thought. You know, when I looked at the stats, it's not as bad as I thought. I think the regression comes from bad decision-making and being off target, right? So it's not like he's regressed into a bad quarterback. He's not a bad quarterback. He's good. I mean, shoot, he's been in the Heisman talk until about 2 weeks ago. Now he's not, and justifiably so. But his slight regression, and couple that with Ryan Williams hadn't been 100% healthy and has not been his normal Hollywood self. Couple that with Josh Cuevas probably out for this game. At least that's what we think. And the lack of a running game. And all of a sudden, yeah, I can see where an Auburn team that gave Georgia fits at their place could certainly pull off an upset.
Oh, there's plenty of reason to have high anxiety about this game. Plenty of reason. Now, I'll preface that by saying I think Alabama's going to win the game, so no one should go too far. But I do believe there's been a Ty regression, as evidenced by the fact you said it yourself. He was a Heisman frontrunner. Now he's not really in the discussion. So why would that happen? In part, the Oklahoma loss, the turnovers in the Oklahoma loss, and the fact that he just hasn't been stupendous right before or since. So I'm as big a Ty fan as there is, and not even Jimmy Stein would put Ty Simpson in New York City. I would not. Off topic, but just me, I would put Fernando Mendoza, Jeremiah Love, and Diego Pavia in New York.
Now let me take it one step further. Let me take it one step further, and then I'll let you continue on when we have the ball. Is Ty Simpson even first team All SEC anymore? Is that plum go to Marcel Reed now?
I would tend
maybe Diego Pavia.
I would tend to say Diego Pavia.
Okay.
And by the way, I'm not a Diego fan in the sense I'm like most people who aren't Vanderbilt fans. I don't care for the kid's attitude very much. He's just not a me. I'm too old school apparently to appreciate any kid who idolizes Johnny Manziel is probably just kind of off. That doesn't mean he's not a great player. He's an unbelievable player that changed an entire culture at Vanderbilt, and I think it's really cool that he did that. But I'm not really a Diego Pavia guy. But I think he should be first. Here's what I'd say about the Pavia doubters. I'm a Mendoza guy now. Wasn't earlier, but I am now. If you put Diego Pavia at Indiana and put Fernando Mendoza at Vanderbilt, I don't think Vanderbilt would be where Vanderbilt is. And I think Indiana would be exactly where Indiana is.
Yeah.
I think you could even switch Pavia and Julian Sayin.
Yeah.
I don't. Julian Sayin would not be winning a Heisman right now at Vanderbilt. He would improve Vanderbilt. He would be the best quarterback Vanderbilt's ever had. But I don't think Julian Sayin would transform Vanderbilt like Pavia has. And if Pavia was at Ohio State, sure, they'd change the offense a little bit. But you know where they'd be? Undefeated #1. That's probably why Pavia, I'm not against him winning it for that reason. And I think Jeremiah Love is the best player in college football. But overall, I think Mendoza's going to win it because it's a quarterback award. And he is seen as the quarterback. He's likely #1 pick. I don't know why people confuse that these days, but people tend to confuse that. Who's going to be the #1 pick? Who should win the Heisman? Like it's the same conversation, which I think is silly. But let's get back to Alabama. When Alabama has the ball, Ty Simpson has to play better. There's the thing. Ty has to play better. It hasn't been as good as it was. I know Ty is saying, I've heard this, and I think people are making too much of it. I agree, Ty. People are making too much of it. But at the same time, you've played better than you're playing right now. And the Auburn game requires everyone's best performance. If you're a golfer and as good as you shoot is 74, but lately you've been shooting 80, I need you to shoot 74 Saturday. We need you to shoot 74 because too much is on the line here. Ty's got to play a little bit better. How can we help Ty play better when Alabama has the ball? Run the ball better. I see signs that Alabama's doing that. Is it going to be a 200-yard game against this good Auburn defense? No. Doesn't need to be. How about just picking out a number 160? 160. I think if they run for 160 as a team, Ty's going to have a good night. You're taking heat off of Ty with 160. That can be a combined 160 from Jam, Daniel Hill, Kevin Riley, and Ty Simpson. Maybe a gimmick play from Jeremy Bernard. Run for 160. That's going to help Ty. And finally, what can really help Ty, the strength of this team is the wide receiver group. Jeremy Bernard, Ryan Williams, Latsier Brooks. Make plays. All of y'all make plays. We'll talk about basketball later. How good is this basketball team when Phylon, Reitzel, and Holloway all have good nights? Same thing here. We need Ryan, Germ, and Latsier all to make plays. All hands on deck Saturday. That'll make Ty's job easier. Run the ball, make Ty's job easier. I think the offensive line and running back group have taken incremental baby steps in improving. Saturday needs to be the payoff.
You know, I've been calling for it for some time now. Maybe this Saturday is Lottie Brooks' first touchdown. That would certainly help add to his lore.
It's crazy that hasn't happened.
It's weird. But would love to see that happen. I'm with you, and I don't care where the rushing comes from. It doesn't have to be a singular person. In fact, I was about to ask you until you just said it. Like, do you think Ty runs a little more? And I think my answer is yes. I mean, I think my answer is yes. Yeah,
it makes sense to me. If the answer is, if Grubb is saying, I don't want to run Ty Simpson, he might get hurt. Oh, I get it. But now it's win or disaster. Now you're all hands on deck, fire every weapon you've got. And Ty Simpson's legs have basically been an unfired weapon to this point. The kid can really run. We're going to talk a lot about Ashton Daniels, Deuce Knight, even Jackson Arnold. Ty Simpson can run I'm not saying he can run like Deuce Knight, but he can run. And it's just something we need to see on Saturday, at least to an extent. Do something that Auburn's sort of not prepared to see.
Another thing that I've noticed is it seems like Auburn has been pretty susceptible to being beaten by tight ends. It's very unfortunate in that regard that Cuevas is probably out. However, Caleb's been good. Even Dalton Brody or Brody Dalton. You can do his name either way. He caught a pass the other day. Marshall Pritchett.
I think Marshall Pritchett is a guy that they're specifically, he's the most Cuevas-like guy behind Cuevas. I think last Saturday, he played the most snaps of any tight end, most targets, most receptions, period. I took it as, let's take a look and see how ready Marshall Pritchett is for the Cuevas role, even when they go to Auburn. I think they give him a chance early. That's just the way I would do it. I wouldn't throw him in the deep end with no floaty, but I might just put him out there as a test balloon early. And how about this? A little silver lining. They started the Eastern Illinois game with 2 tight ends, 1st and 10, first possession, 2 tight ends. They don't do a lot of that, but it wasn't Marshall Pritchett, the H, and Caleb Edwards, the Y. It was Caleb Edwards and Jay Lindsey. I like the message that sends, and I sort of like that personnel grouping just in the sense of, hey, Auburn, we're here to run the football. Or you put Caleb Edwards and Jay Lindsey out there, I bet you run the ball a little bit better. Again, not expecting 200 yards, but you run the ball a little bit better with 2 big, strong tight ends out there. That's not something you've seen a lot from Alabama all year, but it might be a good time with Cuevas out.
Let's talk a little FanDuel now. FanDuel is awesome. The NBA is back. There's no better place to get in on action than FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. Even if you missed the start of the game or you want to ride that hot hand, FanDuel has live bets on everything from who will score next to fourth quarter comebacks. Plus, you can even combine your live bets into the same game parlay, or you can do it for a bigger shot and a bigger payout. It keeps every game exciting, especially when your team's making that late push. Right now, FanDuel is giving new customers 300 smacks in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. So head to FanDuel.com to sign up and play your game with FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of Jimmy.
Brandon Miller's NBA.
Okay, so we've talked a little bit about when Bama has the ball. We didn't really go off on wide receivers. Look, here's the thing. We know our wide receivers are really good. So could they play a little better? Could some of them step up? Ryan Williams in particular? Of course they could. But I'm not as much worried about them. Did you take any how did it make you feel when Jeremy Bernard said something that it seemed to me was taken a bit out of context when he was on the next round and he said something to the effect of, hey, it's a great environment, but who's to say we don't blow them out? I don't find that to be incredibly offensive. I saw some Auburn people going, oh, we'll show him. Okay, I feel like you're sort of spinning his word. I just didn't feel it's not like he said we're going to blow them out. He was like, what if we blow them out? I don't think that's incredibly offensive. I mean, just really quickly on that, did that bother you at all?
No, 0. And I don't know what fans ever expect players to say. And the way I look at it in terms of, does it bother me? Okay, what if Cam Coleman had said it? Would I be bothered as an Alabama guy? I mean, no. I mean, what do we expect these guys to say? I want Alabama and Auburn players to be confident and excited about Saturday. What I don't want is disrespect of the other team or their fans. I didn't take it that way at all. And if Cam Coleman had said it, I would just been a non-story to me.
Okay, good.
But some people made a thing of it. He also said Alabama fans were, I think he used the word classless for booing Connor Talty. I do agree. But regardless of that, he said exactly what I want him to say. We should want our players to have the other players' backs. It's not like the fans. We should want him defending and seeing Connor Talty as a teammate and seeing Connor Talty as, this is my brother, this is my guy, y'all shut the heck up. That needs to be what Jeremy Bernard says, whether you're a fan that booed or not. But now that everybody got that out of their system, let's support Connor Talty. You might need him on Saturday. There's not going to be another kicker out there. You might need Connor. And wouldn't it be great? If we're writing the Hollywood script that Connor Talty is the hero on Saturday? That might be the script I would choose if I get to write it.
We've seen it before. 2018 SEC title game. Jalen Hurts comes in for two and the whole thing. But so we'll talk about that during the prediction show. But I was going to say the same thing, that if Connor Talty and Connor Talty's teammates want people to forget, a missed chip shot field goal, go kick a couple of field goals in Jordan-Hare Stadium. All of a sudden, Connor Talty would be the mayor of Tuscaloosa. Sorry, Walt.
The
Maddox.
eraser. It's the eraser. See, it's an eraser. No one will remember. No one will remember the first 11 game. I use this as a perfect example for those who have the time to do this. Van Tiffen is remembered as one of the great kickers in Alabama football history, because in large part it was because of that one kick against Auburn. Because if you look at his career numbers, you'll be surprised to see they aren't nearly as good as Adam Griffith's. I'm talking about, I mean, and that was, by the way, he had a T and wider uprights, and his numbers weren't as good as Adam Griffith's. But why is Van Tiffen a legend and a hero? And by the way, I would vote him as both. The one game-winning kick against Auburn. Connor, that's all it takes.
Well, I mean, it's again, we've gotten so off track now, but might as well keep going. That Chris Davis is an Auburn hero forever, despite the fact that, frankly, he was big part of the reason they lost the national championship game on that last drive by Florida State. Now, having said all that,
I don't know Chris Davis for anything else. I mean, I'm no Auburn fan, but I don't know him for anything else other than I do know he played in the NFL, and I think he coached Kool-Aid McKinstry in Birmingham, which I think is kind of funny.
That's true. So, all right, when Auburn has the ball, here's my question. Over under, this would be a good FanDuel prop bet. Over under number of quarterbacks, number of people who take snaps for Auburn. I'd set it at 2.5.
2.5.
Let me tell you why. Well, you say under. Ashton Daniels.
Yes.
If there's a Deuce Knight package, if there's a Wildcat, or even if Jackson Arnold comes in for a minute because they want to run more. Jackson Arnold, I don't know if he's a better runner than Deuce Knight, but he's certainly not as fast. But he might be more experienced and a widely veteran. If you needed somebody that, everybody's going crazy for Deuce Knight at Auburn. They should. He had an incredible game. But he did it against Mercer, and it's a different animal playing an SEC team in a very, very heated moment. So I wonder if Jackson Arnold, because he also had success running the ball against Alabama last year, if he gets to take another snap, or if somebody does take a Wildcat snap for him or something.
The Wildcat snap thing is what would nosedive the bet for me. I mean, in terms of 2.5, I mean, I went under really quick.
Yeah.
Maybe that Wildcat snap thing. I mean, at Alabama, Jam Miller is taking snaps.
Yeah.
Daniel Hill is taking snaps. Caden Proctor has taken snaps. So the Wildcat thing could really cause you to lose that bet.
And Jeremy taking one?
Jeremy, I think, has taken snap. Yeah, yes, he has. Yeah. So, but I think the real answer, I think Ashton Daniels will be the quarterback. I thought early this week it would be Ashton, first sign of trouble, he's out, Deuce in. I'm told by the Auburn people, including Zach Blackerby, Locked on Auburn, who knows Auburn extremely well, that won't be the case. This is just Ashton Daniels' game, and there won't be we've got to put in Deuce Knight. He thinks basically, I'm putting words in his mouth, but the sort of fans are overreacting to Mercer, but the coaches won't, and the coaches are going to go with the redshirt junior in Ashton Daniels, because this year is now a redshirt year for him. Redshirt junior Ashton Daniels, starting quarterback at Stanford for basically 2 years, did great at Vandy. But, he reminded me, I pointed out Ashton Daniels, 21 touchdowns, 20 interceptions at Stanford, completion percentage under 60%, completions per attempt less than 7 yards in his career. But then you say, yeah, but what happened in Nashville? I'd also say this. Yeah, what happened in Lexington at Auburn against Kentucky? Ashton Daniels started that game too. He got benched for Jackson Arnold, came back in, didn't improve things. That was Kentucky. So he's actually played. Vanderbilt wasn't the only appearance for Ashton Daniels this season. And I'm not saying this as a way for Alabama fans to don't worry about this guy. He's dangerous and he's a veteran. but Ashton Daniels, to me, I think his performance at Nashville was overly hyped, but eye-opening.
Yeah, and look, if he can just throw the ball to Cam Coleman's pretty incredible. We all agree with that. I think Cam Coleman's fantastic. I've said that since high school. And I would have loved for him to come to Alabama. There's no doubt. And I hate that he went to Auburn.
If he was eligible this year, he could probably be a first-round pick. I mean, that's what I think about him.
I don't think there's any doubt. And for the longest time, I felt like we certainly got the better end of the stick with Ryan Williams. I'd say it's more neck and neck right now. I mean, Cam's ineffectiveness for the first part of his career was mostly due to the quarterback situation they had. And then Ryan has sort of had a regression similar to Ty Simpson, where he's just doing some things that you're like, wait a minute, he doesn't do that. I mean, and so maybe that's where, and Eric Singleton's also good. Jeremiah Cobb's a good player. Now I know he's a little banged up. I don't know if that's going to play a role, but if Jeremiah Cobb is banged up, I don't know where Auburn really goes running back wise. I mean, their next few running backs are pretty inexperienced.
I would say a comparison to Ryan and Cam Coleman, and I hope Ryan's listening and takes us the right way. I just think if these players were stocks, Ryan Williams' stock hit an all-time high against Georgia as a freshman. That's when his stock was just crazy sky high, and deservedly so. It's down since then. It's down 100%, since then. 100%. Cam Coleman's stock today is as high as it's ever been. I mean, Cam Coleman's stock is going up. Ryan's has gone down since Georgia and is not rebounded, at least not to that height. And I think that's the difference between the two of them. Not to mention Cam's older, bigger, stronger, hasn't had the quarterbacks Ryan's had. But that said, Ryan Williams versus Cam Coleman is irrelevant, really.
It is, but it's also a thing. It's irrelevant and it's not, because Alabama and Auburn people are going to do that. And it is oddly, they're both wide receivers, but they're both very different players. But this is not nothing. Last year, Cam Coleman did have a hell of a catch in the Iron Bowl. I think it was Xavier Brown. And Ryan Williams had an opportunity to catch a big long pass and dropped it. That happened. I mean,
they trash talked him. They trash talked him too before the game. I kept thinking, boy, they trash talked Ryan Williams. They're going to pay for that. Didn't. But again, I think we are a part of being too hard. I think the fans at Alabama have been a little overly harsh on Ryan, too hard on him. I think we have been too, because this is still one of the better wide receivers in this league. And hey, if you told me right now that Saturday night Ryan Williams has 7 catches for 145 yards and 2 scores, I'm not even surprised. Who should be surprised? No one should be surprised. That's how good he is, because no one should be surprised if that's the case.
Now I'm with you. And we'll talk about this aspect in the prediction show, which will be out on Friday. But one other thing that worries me is how cold it's going to be. And it just seems like in colder weather like this, even though it's going to be clear skies and it's not rainy, anything like that, it just seems like it's tougher on passing teams when it's like that. I mean, maybe
Ty's from the cold weather state of Tennessee.
I mean, it's colder than here. I don't know about cold weather.
For some reason,
on a mountaintop.
I didn't know till this week. You know, Ashton Daniels is a Buford guy. Maybe everybody in the world knew that but me. But Ashton Daniels is a Buford quarterback.
I'd heard it, but I'd kind of forgotten it. But now that you say it, I remember.
Totally forgotten. Yeah,
that's also cheating. I hate it when people say that. Now that you say that, I remember it. Yeah, because I just told you.
Now, I had 100% either forgotten or never knew it. But when I was researching Ashton Daniels' time at Stanford, and then I was looking at the bio and it said Buford, I'm like, Buford, Georgia?
Let me tell everybody about Omaha Steaks. Woo! Let me look. Y'all don't know this. I'm
so excited.
I'm not a turkey guy. I don't really love Thanksgiving food. It's all brown. Everything's brown. The potato casserole, the turkey, the everything. Right? I love Omaha Steaks though. And so if you're having Thanksgiving at my house, when I get to be that age where people come into Daddy's house for Thanksgiving, I'm gonna have some Omaha Steaks. And the holidays always feel a little easier when you already know the perfect gift. And Omaha Steaks makes it almost too simple. Whether you're treating yourself this season, sending something memorable to family and friends, whatever, Omaha Steak delivers handcrafted perfection right to your dough. And this week is the best time because their cyber sale is here and the deals are huge. Look, they're just monster. You can't beat them. It's the kind of gift that brings people together, and you want to go get in on this monster deal. Save big on unforgettable gifts with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com for 50% off. That's site-wide. And an extra 20% off select favorites. Holy cow. During the cyber sale. And for an additional $35 off, use promo code college at checkout. Holy cow, they're paying you to come get these steaks just about. That's omahasteaks.com. Promo code college. Terms do apply because they apply to everything. So, and you also need to see the site for details. That's Omaha Steaks.
Always excited when we have a new sponsor that I'm already a big fan of. And, I'm a big fan of Omaha Steaks too. For those who haven't tried it, you will not be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, I'm right there with you. A few shout outs really quickly because I told them that I would do it, and I want to because I was honored to see some of these folks. First of all, Harley Spitznagel. I never asked how to say her name, but I think that's how you say her name. She is in Las Vegas. She had reached out to me, was like, man, I want to get together with you and just meet you and we can have a beer or whatever. And I said, hey, great. It didn't work out. It's tough when you're in Vegas to, like, you can't, even if they're your neighbor, it's tough to meet them because there's so many bright lights and shiny things. You get distracted, and gambling and other stuff. And so I didn't get to see her. However, she said, look, I've got something I want you and Jimmy to sign and send back to me. Look at this shirt she's made, Jimmy. Look at this. It's got the Locked On, and it's got a Ryan Williams podcast. I mean, I said, oh, yeah, you got to send that to me, and then I'll send it to Jimmy. We'll both sign it, and you can send it back. So that's great. I just thought it was so cool. I mean, it's real. It's flattering. It's awesome, and I'm so happy that she's enjoying the podcast.
No promises, but I'll also look into through my buddies if I can't get Ryan to sign that too.
Oh, that'd be incredible.
No promises, but I know people who know people.
And if he can't get that to happen, I know a guy named Brian Williams that'll sign it, and it's close enough.
He's going to be one of South Florida's best signees next Wednesday.
Then there's
you're not talking about the receiver.
No, I'm not talking about a whole other Brian Williams.
You're talking about a former Alabama point guard.
I think this one's from Eclectic. But anyway, I want to thank Michael C. and his lovely, beautiful bride, Vegas K. They are with the Las Vegas official alumni group, and they reached out, and I mean, I got to see them there, and they gave me one of their cool shirts. It's just Roll Tide, like that's everything I love in one shirt, Las Vegas and Roll Tide. I appreciate them. Also met a guy at a poker table. He said he was going to subscribe. He's not a Bama fan. He just said he saw I had Bama fan stuff on. He said, well, I'm friends with one of the teammates. I think he said I grew up next to him. And I said, well, who? Jeremy Bernard. So
from Vegas.
Yeah.
Jeremy's weirdly from Vegas, Falmouth, Michigan State, transferred to Washington, played at Alabama. Jeremy Bernard should probably be the next James Bond.
Yeah. Well, this kid's name was Roman. He was a super nice guy. Again, you always meet the great people on poker tables generally. And then there was Carson and Justin. I don't have a picture. They took a picture with me, but using their phone, and wanted to give a shout out to them. So I know that doesn't mean stuff to some people, but I appreciate all those folks. It is fun to go to Bama. It wasn't like it was packed full of Bammers at this place, but there were some Bamas, there were some Aubs, there were some Vols. There were some Kansas. There were some Houston.
Max from South Carolina trying to get in touch with me. Fan of the show, been trying to get in touch with me. I'm going to reach out to you, buddy. Just give me some time. Max from South Carolina. Thanks for listening to the show.
There, Jimmy's got his own shout out. I like it. Now, all right. So let me talk about this Players Era tournament for a minute, because by the time you guys watch this, the thing will be over. And I know that this particular tournament is like very quickly eroding, like a New York subway urinal cake. It is being eroded.
Yikes. That was too descriptive.
That was too much. So it's eroding the other tournaments. Like Maui, that tournament sucked this year. There's
Who wants to play in these other tournaments when the kids are getting paid? Are the kids getting paid to play in the Maui thing?
I doubt it. And if they are, it's not this amount of money. Now,
It almost feels like the Players Era is the NCAA tournament and everything else is the NIT and less.
But you know what it is? It's like the Players Era is sort of, it's like in Talladega. I'm not a big race guy, but I think Talladega is like at the beginning of the race season, and
there's
like
two. There's two.
Okay, well, one of them is at the beginning, and
Daytona start. Daytona. I know very little about NASCAR. Everybody that knows a lot about is making fun of me, and feel free. But Daytona is the start of the whole NASCAR season, and it's the Super Bowl. It's like they have their Super Bowl first.
Okay,
maybe so that's kind of what you're talking about. Yeah.
Regardless, so this thing is going to be big, and I know that there's some people who hate it because the Maui stunk, Battle for Atlantis stunk. I mean, it just everybody who's anybody was at this thing. Now, I mean, yeah, Kentucky wasn't there and Michigan State wasn't there, but they'll probably be there next year. They want to do 36 teams next year. Now they
every fan at Maui got their own personal photo with Jay Billis, and I think he gave each one of them $20. I mean, that's how the Maui thing was to me. And I watched about 10 minutes of it. You're right. I mean, Players Era has Godzilla stomped all the other holiday tournaments.
And let me tell you what else. The games have been pretty doggone good now.
Good teams.
UNLV Bama was a 40-pointer. And Gonzaga Maryland was a 40-pointer. There have been some stinkers too, but I watched a lot of that Houston Tennessee game. It was also, they have two arenas, so I didn't get to go to both arenas. You buy a ticket for like either 2 or 3 games, and so we of course just went to the Bama games and we watched a little bit of Maryland and UNLV, and that's when I said we're going to beat the crap out of UNLV. I can tell that just right now. And then I think we're also, I may be wrong. I'm going to go on record and say we cover against Maryland tonight, because I think we're a lot better than they are too. But this tournament is the bee's knees, man. I mean, I highly encourage people to go next year.
Doesn't it make sense that Buzz Williams is now a turtle?
It does, and I don't know if you saw what I tweeted out. I took a picture of Buzz Williams. He looked like he was entering a breakdance contest from 1988 with the outfit he had on. It was very disturbing.
He dresses up, and I love his suit vest look that he's famous for, the suit vest that Buzz Williams has made ultra famous. But now, since that's how I'm used to seeing Buzz Williams, when he's in relaxed wear, I freak out. I want to call the police.
Yeah,
I want to call the police. I'm like, who is this? This can't be right. I mean, this doesn't.
Biz Williams.
Call the FBI. This doesn't look right. Put him on some sort of list.
So what I'm saying is next year, and I don't think this is solidified. I've tried to find, the field or any beginnings of the field for next year, but I haven't been able to find anything. I think Alabama's in it again next year. And if they are, I encourage everybody to go to this thing. Now, let me talk about the game just for a second because we're already out of time. Lebaron Phylon, let me tell y'all, he was sort of the talk of the people around me who were just neutral bystanders. They were like, that dude's a dude. He's playing his butt off. Yes, he had a couple of turnover moments. Yes, but LeBaron's got ice water in his veins, and we had a bad stretch against Gonzaga late. That was the difference. And Gonzaga has about 7 guys that are all 32 years old with families. That they are just very experienced and older than us. Aiden Holloway, y'all, I'm beginning to think Aiden Holloway this is his breakout moment. And I wouldn't be shocked if he had 20 something against Maryland tonight. His threes still aren't dropping the way I want them to, but they're coming around. Houston Mallette, man, I loved that they gave him the green light at the beginning of the game against UNLV. He took 8 threes in like the first 5 minutes. It was nuts. Now he only hit 2 of them, I think, but I was for it. I'm here for it.
He's fun to watch because he busts his butt out there. Houston Mallette is one of these 100%. I used to like it when I was younger, but now I hate it. Let's decide as a family to always just use 100% effort and not 110, because 110% effort is like literally impossible. But 100% effort is quite noble, and I think with Houston Mallette, you get 100% effort every second he's in there.
Well, that's what I was going to say is that, okay, so he's like 2 of 8. And then I think the play happened to where like he dove for a ball and he sold out. He could have really hurt himself trying to get a ball at the very beginning of a game. from trying to go out of bounds against UNLV, a team we were clearly much better than. And I just thought that spoke volumes about him. Let me tell you something else about Houston y'all might not have seen on TV. Every time somebody checked out of the game, if Houston Mallette was on the bench, he stood up and came over and like patted him on the butt or back or shook their hand or high-fived them or fist bumped or did something. And he's a quintessential teammate. Now, Aiden Sherrill looks pretty good. Still got some Keaton Bristow. Man, Keaton Bristow's effort is unquestioned. His ability to make
might be my
layups
favorite
is
player
very
on the
questioned.
team. Might be my favorite player on the team.
But he's got to make his layups.
Favorite's not best. Favorite with me is never. LeBaron
Yeah,
Phylon's the best player on the team. Everybody knows that. LeBaron Phylon's the best player we got. And I don't dislike LeBaron in any way whatsoever. But Keaton Bristow may be my favorite player on the team. Why? Effort, juice, fun to watch, makes the team better. So glad he's here. Crazy he came from Tarleton State. How did a team like Tarleton State have a talent like that on their roster? Brilliant eval on their part. And as I pointed out on a previous show, for those that don't know, Keaton's sister is a basketball player at Texas Tech. She's not only a basketball player there, she's fantastic. She's actually one of the better players at Texas Tech and in the Big 12, which isn't a surprise when you watch Keaton play.
TBB was really good at times too.
Hard hat winner last night.
I thought Hannah and Jemison and Amari Allen all had their moments. Jemison's really Allen's been steadily good the whole year, and Jemison is really coming on, man. And Hannah, if he's got to have his moment where like he realizes he's good enough. You can tell the talent's there and then the effort's there. Now, the one thing that is scary, and y'all know where I'm going, I don't really know how much Noah Williamson's going to be able to really pitch in. I mean, we got a pretty good sample size now, and you can see the confidence is just not there with him. And it's like, boy, he had a pass. I mean, he got a rebound, and then he threw an outlet pass, and it was over everybody's head, and there was no pressure. And I saw him immediately hang his head, like, gosh. And I'm just wondering, either he was so big and incredibly dominant at his previous stop, and it's just not translating, or he still can be a really good big man, but he just doesn't know the game yet at this level.
At this level, yeah. Luke and I, we talked about this before the games even started, so we're not claiming some sort of like new, because everybody now has seen the team play. Rebounding in the front court is the issue. And when I say the issue, I mean, when we play somebody that's a really good rebounding team, that's really good and physical in the front court, it's going to be problematic. I'm not saying we can't beat those teams, but it's going to be problematic. And if you end up losing in March and the season's over and you didn't quite get as far as you wanted to, why? Probably rebounding in the front court. But hey, for those out there that are like frustrated that the team isn't perfect, well, get ready to be frustrated 99 out of 100 years. I mean, everyone is going to have some level of flaw. That's going to be what Nate and this staff need to coach around. They need to improve it and coach around it. It's just flawed in that way.
And I thought the stark difference, I've been thinking, okay, there will be a game where Noah Williamson will catch on and like it'll slow down a little bit for him. But man, when he first went out there against Gonzaga, against that EK kid and the other tall white kid whose name escapes me, there's contrast. I mean, you could see the look in his eyes like, oh my God, these guys are big as me and they're much faster. And
no one to me looks like a player who was like good in his division, but is struggling to adjust to this higher level of basketball. It's that, and will he ever adjust is a fair question. But this staff saw something in him, and maybe there will be matchups throughout the season in which he looks better than he does right now. But you're right. I think Aiden Sherrill is turning into one of the most valuable players on the team. He's not the best. He's far from the best, but valuable, because when he's out, for Alabama to be effective, you just kind of have to go small, which is solve some issues and creates others.
All right, that's going to do it for today's pod. We'll be back Friday with more. Until then, roll
Maybe
Tide.
two shows. Maybe two shows.
Yeah, 2 shows. That's right. All right. Until then,
Roll
roll
Tide.
Tide.
Roll Tide.